Welcome back to DT's Garage. This will be episode number 3 for this car. Basically in this episode I'll be showing you the final welding processes and the little tips and tricks that you need to get the fitment that much better and, you know, less adjustments for later. You want to make sure everything's been fit, which it has, and I've showed you in the last video. Like I said, it's all rough fit though. So what I said before, I'm going to start in the beginning, work my way back. Alright, so one of the areas I'm talking about on this car, for instance, on the adjustments, everything fits really good up here, this line. Obviously here I need to make some adjustments too, but down here it follows the door gap really good, except for right here at the quarter and the rocker line, and this is why. If you look real close, it follows the rocker line and then follows the rocker line and then gets sucked in here. So what you want to do is you want to pull the quarter out to the edge and then tack weld it, and then you can always smooth that out later or grind it later and get rid of it, but you want to hold it in place so that when you weld the door jamb up, that holds the line at the bottom. You don't want to open, you know, when you open and shut the door a million times, it's very time consuming. So you want to make sure everything's set. You want to tack it in a couple spots, and then you can weld the whole door jamb, and then, you know, check every once in a while, make sure nothing moved, but you should be safe at that point. Once you got everything welded in the door jamb area and the wheelhouse, and it's time to start welding the roof channel and the rear window channel area, you want to fit your rear window trim and make sure everything fits really good beforehand. Obviously you don't want to have a window on hand and throw it in and out 1,000 times and you know, have a chance of breaking it. So the window trim is a pretty good guide. You want to take some measurements and stuff like that. The best thing you could do is make a cardboard cutout of your rear window so that you're, like I said, you're not chancing breaking it. But you make that cardboard cutout to fit the opening to make sure it's right, but you also want to fit the trim to make sure that all these lines up in the quarter fit right. And down here at the bottom, if you have to slice it and rework it or whatever, you want to make sure you do that now and not later, obviously. So yeah, you want to be mindful of that kind of thing and make the adjustments now before you have to, you know, mess up body work and stuff like that. So you don't want to be doing it when the car's primed. You want to do it now. So check all your trim now, and don't wait until, I've seen people wait until the car was painted to put trim on the car, and then it doesn't fit. Trust me, fit your trim now. Make sure everything fits good before it goes to the body shop and all that stuff, or if you're doing the body work, whatever. Make sure it all fits before you get started on that. So when you do the quarter panels on these cars, there's a brace in the quarter panel or quarter window area here where the big old hole is here. Now this guy cut through it on this side, so I have to make one. I was able to salvage the one from the driver's side. There's very little bit taken out of it, so I'm not going to worry about that. But it should have been like that much longer. It's not that big of a deal. So anyway, I'm going to show you guys how to separate it from the old panel without destroying it. That's about it. Let's get to it. I know this car came to me cut apart already, so you didn't get to see that where I got to cut the car apart, but my suggestion is if you see this and you haven't cut your car apart yet, cut it about here with the cutoff wheel, back, and then about right up here. You just kind of want to get that cleared out so you can get to it without destroying it and get the rest of the quarter off. That is a very brittle piece of metal. It's just a little piece of tin that sits in there. It's not something that's going to be holding shape if you start hitting it with a chisel or something like that. So basically you want to cut around it. Just reach up inside of there. Just reach up like that inside of there, and you'll be able to feel how long it goes, and then you can determine where you want to cut, kind of thing. I welded up in the door jamb here. Door jamb's welded. I welded up the wheelhouse as well. You can't, I don't feel like crawling down there, but it's welded up to this point here. I could have welded back here in the rain gutter and at the roof line, but I didn't yet. No rhyme or reason, just did not yet. And now I'm going to show you that it's time to fit the trim before you move on from this point back. Alrighty, this is what I'm talking about. You want your trim to be fit. Yeah, there's some loose edges and stuff like that. There's no clips in it, so it's not going to sit perfectly flush, but you want to make sure the corners are set right. As you can see, there's a little bit of an issue here, so I need to rework this area. It's good to know now. And then this, see, looks good on this side. This pretty close, a little bit needs to be worked there, but up on the top looks good there. So that's set. This needs to be tapped in a little bit on the deck filler side. That'll be set fine. It's really just the left side that needs to be adjusted. But like I said, you want to know this kind of stuff ahead of time. I think it's actually a quarter defect because it kind of goes up here slightly. So once I pull that down and get it in there, I might just weld to the edge of that just to make up the difference. But yeah, like I said, you definitely want to make sure your trim is fit before you do any body work. So now that I've checked the trim and I made sure that that's pretty good, the right side was good. I can weld that for sure. I have to mess around with the left side a little bit, but now I know for sure I can weld this channel and this channel, which could have been done already, but I didn't. Anyway, that can definitely be done for sure, and I can also weld the rear window channel on the quarter panel as well. After that, it's messing with the deck lid setting and all that kind of thing, but as far as getting to that point, the trim has been fit, so now I can weld the whole rear window channel on the right side of the car. Alright, now you can see I got it all welded up, roof channel and the rear window channel everywhere, all the way up to the wheelhouse on both sides. They are both done now, and now comes the part where I have to get the deck lid line right and the trim line right around the rear window, and that's what I'll be working on now. I'll show you a little bit of concerns that I have here of what I'll be fixing. Alright, so let me show you what I have concerns with here and what I have to adjust. As you can see, the line's real nice on that side, and then it drops in the middle there. I don't know if you can see it on the camera there, but right in this area, it drops, as you can see. Shouldn't be able to do that, it should be flush. So what we're going to do is I'll show you the trick inside of here, and then up in here, this needs to come up as well. So I'll show you what I got to do in there, and how you done? And then yeah, so that's the next thing. I'll show you what I'm about to do here. Alright, now as you see here, this line looks pretty good all the way across. When I pick it up in the center, it'll make that line nice and even across here, but when I do that, it's going to open this gap up, and that's because it's too far forward, as you can see here. So what I'm going to do is, I have it screwed in place currently because I was trying to have the line held up by something, since this is kind of just, well, it was flopping in the wind at this point. Now it's welded, but it was flopping, so I had to screw it to it some way, shape, or form so that this would give me a decent line. But at this point, now it's too far forward and the hole is off, so I'm going to have to take these two screws out. Actually, I'm probably going to take the whole thing off, re-weld those holes up, and then put it back in there. And then take those screws out, slide the thing back a little bit, and get it to where it needs to be, check the line again, and then I'll check the height on everything. And then once that's it, then it's time to weld. But alright, now right here, I got this to line up really good now. Pulled this back to where it needs to be. But as you can see, it's raised off of here, and when I try to clamp this, it's just trying to pull this back down again. So what you got to do is you got to tack this right on the edge here so it doesn't move, and then you can pull the whole thing down together. Alright, and there you have it. All the little tips that I use here and showed you. Now it's nice and flush all the way up to this point. All the way around. There's still a little bit of work that needs to be here. I need to open up that gap here. So that'll be towards the end I'll have to open that up on both sides. I'll weld to about here, and then I'll start either slice it and move it over, or I will just beat it in on the end, because I think it's just an overlap issue here. I think there's too much material, so if I cut one slice in it with the thickness of the blade, the cutoff wheel blade, it should be enough to relax it, pull it in, and re-weld it, and it should be fine after that. Alright guys, and there you have it. Just finished up. You can see the lines here. See that? Looks pretty good. Got the trim in. All this fits real good. There's no clips in there, so it's not going to sit perfectly flush since there's nothing for it to rest on. But as you can see, it fits the openings. Yeah, so AMD panels, they fit great, guys. I highly recommend using the AMD panels. Everything that was used on this car was AMD. Nothing was Dynacorn or anything else that I've mentioned before. So that's a wrap on this Monte Carlo. I did all the welding. It's all done now. The back half of the car has been seam sealed already because I was trying to get something done before lunch. I didn't want to do any welding before lunch, so I did all the seam sealing and stuff before that, or before I left. Came back and finished the fender patch up on this side, and it is all done now. Also, I've had to patch the roof in that area from pulling the windshield out. The windshield was cracked, so he was going to replace it, and once we pushed it out of there, you know what happens. It was rusted, so I had to patch a little spot in the roof. But yeah, anyway, it gets seam seal in here. A lot of people, whenever quarters are done on their car, they're always like, oh, what do I do? Fill in this hole here. Well, from factory, it's seam sealed. That's it. It's not the greatest thing, but I like to weld it solid, and then I'll seam seal it. But yeah, from factory, it was just a big glob of seam sealer. It was just a big old glob right there. If you guys have any questions or concerns or comments, just feel free to voice your opinion. Let me know in the comments. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. So yeah, if you guys don't mind, hit that like button and the subscribe. It'll really help me out, keep you updated on the next video to come. But yeah, so that's that. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Stay tuned for the next episode. Have a good one, guys.